All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back tonight, playing a new game. We're playing Coriolis, actually. Coriolis the Great Dark. There are two Coriolis at this point. This is the most recent Free League Year Zero engine release. So yeah, we're gonna give this a try. We're gonna try playing through the Flowers of Algorab campaign, which is like the actual built-in campaign for Coriolis. So we're gonna give that a go. It's pretty cool looking, and yeah. So I don't know. I didn't really plan any kind of special opening, but this is the first time we've played. I was thinking about this the other day. Is that this is the first time we played Year Zero in a while? And when the channel first started, for the first couple of years, we played like all sorts of Year Zero, like tons of Year Zero games. And I think one of the only games I hadn't played was Coriolis. I think I've played or ran every other Year Zero engine, like official one from Free League. And Coriolis was the last one left, and so I never got to like the original Third Horizon Coriolis. So I guess we're skipping and jumping right into the Great Dark. Jeremy, do you remember which ones that you've played? What Year Zero engines you've played, or which one's your favorite so far?
Oh, that's a tough thing.
Because you've played a bunch too, I think.
I've played a lot of them. I have a soft spot for the setting of Mutant Year Zero. But yeah, our early like. The Vaesen is probably my pound for pound favorite. I just love the way the mysteries worked in that. And
we did like 20 something sessions of that, I think.
Yeah.
That was one of our first, first
so
real
early.
streams. Yeah. It was super early. Quality's probably so bad. I don't even want to look at it again. But yeah, we played that for a bit. It's such a big
party. And yeah,
we had 6 players.
Setting.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it was huge. I remember, I think Chuck ended up with like a snail in his ear or something like that, or a
it's some weird thing, and then it was simply he crushed it and it just wrecked him.
Yeah, was it his name was like Frank or something? I can't remember. And you had like a tree wife.
Yeah,
remember that
Lavinia.
Oh yes,
it was great.
Yeah. Yes,
I was an unexpectedly good marksman for like being the least capable person.
We had a PC
was
go
a ton of
blind.
fun. We did. Yeah, that was it was Bert, right? Bert's character went blind, I think, in that one.
Yeah.
Vaesen was so much fun. Yeah. That was way back in the day. That was one of the first actually. But Long, there was a Year Zero engine game that we played even before that. Do you remember which game that was?
Before Vaesen?
You were in it. Before
Vaesen?
Vaesen?
It was Mutant Year Zero. It still like lingers in the back of my mind. It's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah, we played Gen Lab Alpha specifically. And it's so sad because we never finished it, though we were probably 2/3 of the way through. And you played like a dog, like some kind of dog preacher or something, right?
Yeah, like a cultish
making a cult
dog guy.
Yes, with the spinny top hat, with the like multicolored hat with the spinner on it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like stupid scheduling, because that was back when Logan played with us, and unfortunately, we just kind of kept putting it off, going back to it, trying to wait for him, and then just things never worked out. Now it just feels so long ago. Like it feels ridiculously long ago. It was even before Vaesen. That's how long. It was like the second game we streamed. There was I think the first was Shinobagami, and then the second was the Year Zero engine. Mutant Year Zero. Yeah, I want to do the whole thing. I want to do Gen Lab. I want to do Mechatron. I wanted to do the other one. What's it called? With all the pure-blooded human people in the bunker. Someone will remind me in the chat. And now Ad Astra has come out since then too, because back then everyone was like, "When's Ad Astra coming out?" And since then, Ad Astra has actually come out. So let's go play Mutant Year Zero. Let's go do that.
Okay.
According to your channel, Adventures in Lollygagging, subscribe. You played episode 1 of Mutant Year Zero on March 17th, 2020.
That's crazy.
Or at least that's when the VOD came out.
Yeah, and it came out pretty shortly after we streamed it.
And nothing else important happened that month on that year.
Or that
I don't think so either.
Actual day, I actually
that's
think.
Insane. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, and Jeremy and I played brother and sister, and thanks for the fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, I was still on Long, but that's okay, Melissa. Just jump ahead. I was going to grill Long for a second.
Make it about me.
Really fast. Long, do you think you've played any other Year Zero engine games?
Oh god, I'm scared you're going to ask that. If I did, I don't remember.
You have played one other. You've played one other, and it was, I think, our most recent non-Alien game, because we have played Alien more recently, but it was our most recent non-Alien game.
Non-Alien game. We played a lot of non-Alien games.
Sci-Fi. It was sci-fi. Cyberpunk-ish, based on a movie.
It was a Friday night game.
Was it really cyberpunk?
Cyber-ish. That's why I say ish. It's not really.
Jog your brain. Run it along.
It was a
Spade Gunner.
Blade Runner long. Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, man.
Why can't I think of the word? Oh my god.
Yeah, you've played Blade Runner, which is a different variation, because that uses like the step dice, whereas Year Zero or Mutant Year Zero used just a D6 pool, which is what Coriolis uses. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad it was such a memorable game for you. Kipser, I know you've played Forbidden Lands. Have you played any others?
No. Forbidden Lands, GM'd by one Stephen of Huckleberry fame, is, I think, the only one that I've played as an actual play. I have played Mutant Year Zero as a video game, and I'm sure there's another video game that used the Zero engine, but it's video games.
Yeah. The Road to, was it Road to Eden? Was that the subtitle of it? I know that's the subtitle of the human, well, the human mutant book, so to speak. Yeah, but that was a great video game. I wish they'd been more.
It's very fun.
Yeah. We played Kipser and I and Melissa and Aaron. We were the players. Steven ran the game. We were played through some Forbidden Lands. It was awesome. And I think Melissa and I played through a bunch of Forbidden Lands as well, but with Chuck over on Free League channel way back in the day, and when Free League actually had it active. They had that active Twitch channel for a while with Matt running it. So we did that for a bit. Know that.
Was Forbidden Lands also the system where you played the Halfling Hunter?
Yeah. That's right.
I love that game so much.
Yeah, we went way off the rails. We were definitely not in the default Forbidden Land setting when Chuck ran that. So yeah, I played a halfling. So I rolled up Halfling Hunter, and so I took it very literally. And he was a halfling who hunted halflings, and because they were evil and such, which turned out to be canon, which turned out to be true. They were, in fact. So I was justified with the horrific, horrible murder that I enacted on my people.
Spoke it into existence.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Melissa, you've been in a bunch. You just mentioned things from the flood. Remember that? Yes.
That was, I very much enjoyed the kind of cozy setting of that, and like all of the meat related issues that were going on there, and like the desert and just all of that, and figuring out what was going on with our home and all of that fun stuff. So yeah.
That campaign was based entirely around an Alice in Chains album. It was Into the Dirt, which was a formative album for young Jeff when he was like 12, 13, 14, something like that. But based that all around that concept. We even had like the rooster, like where the meat man escaped, like at the end. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, okay. We're gonna do a new one. I think I've played all of the official ones. I've played Twilight 2K, though I've never ran it. I've been a player in it, but I've only played it a couple sessions. That's probably the one I have the least experience with. But I've played multiple of Tales. I've run things, and I think I've run pretty much everything else except for Forbidden Lands. But I've been a player in it a ton, so I think I've covered everything. Which is all basically to say is that despite our immense experience with Year Zero engine, we're probably gonna botch some things, just so everybody knows. It's probably gonna happen. It's been a minute. We're a bit rusty, and so bear with us as we get into it.
Please be patient.
But all right. Are you all ready to go? You all have your characters. You've done your studying. You know how to pronounce all the words and how to navigate Ship City.
I'm so ready.
Gonna figure it out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the basic setting premise before like we kind of dive into actual play, the basic premise here, if you're familiar with the Third Horizon book, the original Coriolis book, this is not that. Again, that is, I don't know, 200 something years ago or so. Like we're about 200 years in the future, and we're in a completely different locale. So the basic timeline is that a fleet of ships known as the Aspera left the Old Horizon for for a variety of reasons. One of those was because the old horizon was sort of fraught by war. It was like war and kind of everywhere. And so they're trying to escape that. And they also at one point had got a signal from this generation ship, this colony ship that they thought had kind of reached its destination, this colony ship called the Nadir. And so they took that as like their guiding star. And so this diaspora got together and this fleet just was like, we're out of here. And they just decided to go on this generational journey for 200 years, leaving the old horizon, finding this new system, tracking this signal, and assuming that was going to be some vast and wonderful new frontier. And a long time passed, and they called it the Long Traverse, which was like the name for the trip. Various things happened during the time. There's some infighting and whatnot, but eventually, during the trip, things kind of settled, and then once the trip ended, and they made it to the system called the Jamua system, that signal that beacon that they had been using as their star, their guide, well, that was gone. So whoops, that wasn't actually a thing, and they ended up the diaspora ended up in a place called the Jamua system, which is where our ship city, where we're going to be starting off tonight, is, and it ended up being a system that was not particularly well stocked. Let's just put it that way. It was a relatively dead system. And over time, as they tried to like explore outward from there, they found like these portals and they found these ruins. And that's referring to the builders. This is all stuff you know. Each one of your characters knows. This is sort of basic history. So they found ruins on various like moons and asteroids, planets, etc. They found like this portal that you could potentially travel through in the system itself, but it was deactivated. And so they were just kind of stranded. So this fleet was stranded and they just had to make the best of it. And what they ended up doing is they converted many of their ships to a city. And so there's a specific asteroid within the system that they kind of, between the asteroid itself and the various ships that they harvested, created something known as Ship City. The old families, like this, the old families that used to be prevalent within the original Coriolis, and the icons themselves, that kind of faded away. And eventually this guild system emerged as the sort of the governing principles. And so there's this council of 3 primary guilds, but then there's also these other guilds like yourselves. So the primary guilds are Navigators Guild, which are like, these, algebraists, these people who read star charts, but also it gets a little bit more mystical than just pure astronomy and such. Then you've got the Gardeners Guild, which kind of handles food and various other greenery within Ship City. And then there are the Machinist Guild, which by the name, I think you can kind of understand it. They kind of keep the heart of Ship City beating. But you all are a member of the Explorers Guild, because essentially what started to happen as these different ruins started to be explored, the realization hit that there was some kind of ancient alien civilization that long preceded your time here. And they were very dangerous, but there was also these artifacts and shards and things like that people started to discover that had powers, but also had very dangerous things to them. And there was like infighting that was starting to happen between the 3 major guilds, because they were fighting over who gets what, who gets to go in this ruin, who gets to keep this artifact, who gets to do this and that. And so that's where the Explorers Guild came into play. And the Explorers Guild ended up being the group that gets kind of first dibs. They have the rights to essentially delve down into these ruins. They collect these artifacts, and that's what they do. They're delvers. And so you are all members by default of the game, of the Explorers Guild. There are various other factions and stuff that we'll get into as well, but there's not necessarily important for right now. So you all are junior members of the Explorers Guild. So you're not necessarily people who have been with the guild for a significant period of time. It is a small guild, and there's only so many different delving teams. So you're relatively new. You might not be the newest, but you're certainly one of the newer groups. All right. So any questions, anything like that we want to ask before I kind of get us started in the game itself?
Not yet. I think we're excited.
Can we level up now?
I'm sorry, Kipster, but there aren't any levels in this game. So
so
there are a series of questions that you guys do get to answer. I think what we decided to do, because there's both questions for the crew and questions for individual players. And I think we're going to alternate. Like on odds, we're going to do crew or something like that. And on evens, I think even episodes, we're going to do PCs, because our episodes are kind of shorter than a standard session. So I think that's how we're going to pace it and see how that goes. Okay. Anything else?
No, we're good.
All right.
Ready to rock and roll in space.
Okay. The vibe is so I would say the vibe also, it's space, but it's gritty space. Because like some of the things that when they talk about delving, the parallel that they use is like old school deep sea divers with those big, bulky looking suits and things like that. And there's references to like comparisons to like old, Antarctic explorers and such. And that's kind of the vibe, even though we're in space. So keep that in mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get going. Get a little music going. All right. So we fade in as we start up here, and we hear first, before we see anything, like these soft chimes that are echoing off of, it sounds like metal walls, stone walls, etc. It's unobtrusive. It's not particularly obnoxious in any way, but it's very solemn, quiet, but also unending. We continue to hear them chime after chime. And as we open up, we start to see, the first thing we notice are this slow cloud of white flower petals raining down from above. And as we start to pan out and sort of move backwards a bit, we can see that those flower petals are falling from somewhere high above, but down into what looks like a deep circular abyss cut into a stone and metal floor. And it's a landmark that all of you within Ship City, everyone within Ship City would be very familiar with, is a place known as the Well of Souls, and specifically within a district known as the City of the Dead. It is a place of reverence. It's largely where the powerful and the wealthy, where guild members of some significance, where Coriolites, the wealthy families of old, are often laid to rest. And as we pan down a bit more and get a little bit closer, we notice that there is a ledge, a platform, that's suspended by chains just over the edge of the pit itself. And we can see that on this platform, there is a linen-wrapped body. And it's a body that the four of you have heard the name of already. A man by the name of Levon Nijar. It's a former member of the Explorers Guild, your guild, and it's the man that is being buried today, being honored. There's this cold breeze that ascends up from the depths of the well, and it chills a handful, maybe a dozen or more mourners that are gathered about a few meters away from the ledge. And we can see their robes fluttering here and there. But despite that, at no point is the solemnness that's on their faces, these gray faces with empty stares, is it ever disrupted. And among the mourners are the four of you. So I'm going to ask you all very briefly here to just describe what you look like. So I'm going to start with you, Melissa. Tell us, as we are looking out at this audience of mourners, quietly contemplating what's taking place before them, who do we see when the camera pans over Rador?
So when you see Rador, she has this kind of very dark hair that's kind of messy, but it's kind of put up. And you see that she has these kind of darker wraps. And she's fiddling a little bit with the wraps, and you see her hands are these, she has henna tattoos kind of all over over her hands. And she's fidgeting and she's fidgeting, and you do kind of see her. She has a ring on her right forefinger, and you sort of see her kind of sniff a bit, and she kind of takes a deep breath, and you see her kind of settle a little bit. And so after she does that, she kind of readjusts her kind of dark cloaks a little bit and kind of puts her head back down in reverence.
Standing next to you, we see Richter. So long, what does Richter look like?
You see a slender man. His hair a bit shaggy, a bit of cowlick here and there. Dark eye bags. He's wearing a collared gown, you would say. And you can see the peaking of what looks like angel feathers. An upside down tattoo along his neck going into his collarbone. And he's got a patterned scarf that he drapes around his neck.
Very nice. And as we kind of shift through the audience, and we see just maybe on your shoulder, maybe a step or two away, we see Kef. Do you want to describe what we see there, Kipser?
Kef is sort of shorter than Richter by a considerable amount. She's got these sort of lean, hard muscles from a working life, and she's got this leather jacket with her hood up, her face shadowed as much as she can, though underneath you can see kind of like steel gray eyes and a sort of bit of a tan skin peeking out, and messy cropped hair that's dense with grease and oil kind of stuck in on it. Standard overalls kind of thing with kind of calf dense work boots.
And then as we continue to just scan through your crew, and you all know each other, you all work together, and we'll explore those connections shortly. But sitting next to you, we see, well, who do we see, Jeremy?
Armande is like stuffing a book into a little bag off to the side of his. He's, close to Richter's height, but not quite as much. He's definitely younger than Richter is. He's got kind of a baby face that's got just a little bit of peach fuzz that's coming in. He's got a really bad pencil mustache that is not coming in well, but he's trying. And along with that same, not quite right look, is he's wearing dress clothes that are clearly secondhand, so they're not the best fitting. The one thing that does look good is he's got this very old-fashioned cape that just kind of like billows. It's like the only nice thing he owns.
Fantastic. And there's a fifth member of your crew that we didn't necessarily introduce yet, but Pyrex. Who would be tending to Pyrex, or where would Pyrex be right now? Who wants to take that on?
So that would be Rador. I would say Pyrex is kind of been in the vicinity. But kind of when Pyrex kind of like settles in with the group, she is the bird warden. And so Pyrex would kind of be hovering closer to her.
And you notice too that amongst the crowd of mourners, and it's not a large crowd, you see that you are not the only one with a bird. There are quite a few, as many within the mourners obviously are explorers themselves. Not everybody within the delving branch. But certainly you can see a few others. They're keeping quiet. They're perched on shoulders, or they're kind of lingering, perhaps like on the ground next to it. But there's all sorts of different birds of different colors and shapes around. Garuda is the term for them. Now, you all, as you're standing here amongst the mourners, doing your best to mirror the sadness or the respect, the reverence that's being shown. You look around, and there are not many faces that you immediately recognize, because you're here not because you knew Laval Najar. His time in the guild long preceded your own. He's an old man, and all of you are much younger, at least half, if not more, of his age. You might have heard stories about Najar. You maybe at some point shared a drink at some, in a cantina somewhere along the way. But none of you have ever served in the same crew. None of you have ever gone on the same delve. and none of you have even overlapped on a great ship journey through the Slipstream. You've never really had any personal connection with him. For you, he's a name and a story, or a picture on a wall, or a friend of a friend of a friend, which makes the fact that you were invited to this funeral all the more peculiar. But when Master Mosca, who is the leader of your guild, instructs you, a crew of junior explorers, to attend a function, you kind of do what she says. And so you're standing there and you are kind of watching these attendants, these pale-robed, silver-masked wearing attendants known as the Wardens of the Well, who are standing near where the chains seem to connect to the platform, assuring that everything is functioning well. You notice stepping out from the crowd, the small crowd, towards the front, towards where the edge of the well is. You see your guild leader. You see Master Mosca, and she steps forward and gets very, almost precariously close to the void, the ledge, which everyone is several meters away from, because there is no ledge, there's no railing, nothing of the sort. You watch as like the petals continue to drift down, one or two catching in her dark hair. You see her own bird perched atop her shoulder. Like you can see Erak is just like this dark bird that is peering out amongst the crowd, but is keeping themselves quiet, and almost as if it understands what's actually happening right now. Mosca turns, she faces everyone in the crowd and keeps her back to the well itself. And you see she looks up and she offers a bit of a eulogy. She says, Levon was a true explorer and a true friend to many of us here. As we all know, he went farther and deeper than anyone before him. Who can forget the ascent of the Ice Cathedral in Dinhalam, which he made without proper climbing gear or sufficient rations, or the third survey of the Red Garden, where he mapped the final strata all on his own, with a broken leg and a wounded arm. That, my friends, was Levon Nijar. He was fearless, relentless, endless. And as we pass him on now to the uncreated spirit, we do so with gratitude. May the blessings of the three guide him, and may the icons show him mercy. And like all around you, you hear like these mumbles of agreement. You might even see a small crack of a smile as she mentions a few of Levon's more noteworthy achievements. And then, as she's done, she steps forward, and you see two white-robed Coriolites, those pale silver masks, the wardens who operate in this area. You see them step forward towards a console near the edge of the pit, and they begin to enter in various codes. And you watch as the hanging platform shifts beneath the body of Levon Nijar. And then you see as it slightly tips, the body slides, falls off the platform, and you watch it tumble down into this inky blackness of the well. And within seconds, 2 seconds, it's gone. And there's this long moment of silence. And then it's almost as if there's this collective breath that happens as everyone kind of inhales. And you notice that the funeral gathering itself starts to dissolve. You see people start to break away into these groups. You, like I said, recognize a few faces here and there. couple older explorers you might have learned one or two things from. Important figures in the guild. You can see Master Orlov, who is the head of research and history branch. I would say, Armande, you might know him a little bit with your archaeology history. Not part of your branch specifically, but a member of the Explorers Guild. You can see Master Armatalia. She is standing quite tall. She moves past. She's part of the administrative branch, kind of handles pay and that sort of thing. None of them seem to be particularly interested in talking to you. Like they pass by. A few of them might give you a friendly nod. They might pat you on the arm. But none of them pay too much attention. They all seem instead to congregate in these small groups. Now, even though there's this large hole in the ground in front of you, the entire square of the city of dead, there's it's just flat for a while until the outer ring. You notice that there are all sorts of mausoleums and obelisks, and on one side, this massive temple with these huge pillars that go up almost impossibly high into this mosaic etched rooftop. And you see that a handful of the groups are started to trickle off in that direction. And before you maybe get a chance to decide what you want to do, you notice Master Mosca. She's weaving through the different crowds. People are stopping her and expressing a word. She is very tall, thin. She has this kind of almost this black hair that is cropped just underneath her ears down to her jaw. And you can see the black, almost raven-like looking bird propped atop her shoulder. But eventually, she kind of pushes past some wardens and she stops in front of you. I think she might stop in front of you, Rador. And she says very quietly, as she reaches out and takes your hand and then pulls you in and whispers, "Perhaps your crew would be so kind as to join me for a cup of Kassam tea at the Hall of the Departed." And you see her eyes look off towards that tall building on the outskirts, the outer rim of this circle, where you see some of the people are going off to. She looks at you very seriously.
Yes, we will accept this invitation.
And she just kind of looks at the rest of you, nods, and then peels away. She doesn't go with you. And you see her kind of get pulled off to the side by Master Orlov, and there's a conversation that seems to unfold there. And you see that a few of those Coriolite attendants come over, and you can see there's an exchange. You guys have a moment here as the crowd is breaking up a little bit. Some going off to that temple, some leaving. Do any of you say anything? Do anything in this point?
Master Mosca has invited us. We must take her up on this invitation. It's very special for us to receive this.
Oh, of course. Funeral and unexpected invitation. That's, either opportunity or ominous.
It is an ominous day.
I don't think I like the look. It's a bit odd, not made.
What's so special about it? She pays the bills. We just do her job.
Right, so?
That we do, but we welcome the opportunity before us. And I would say that Rador is sort of still taking in sort of all of the things that were said about Livon, and, kind of is a little sort of lost in that, one day, and, she'll kind of share all of the nice things that they said about him. I do hope that our crew will have such things said about us when the time comes that we have ended our exploration.
Okay, but I'll let you take the part with the broken leg and the broken arm. No, I don't want that for you.
Yes, and you sort of, at that, you sort of see her kind of come back to this ring again, and you see her kind of like sniff at it again. Kind of take a deep breath. Yes, we'll go. And she sort of gets Pyrex back on her shoulder.
Yeah.
As they're going to move forward.
Okay, so the four of you, Pyrex, now found their perch. You head in direction. It's not a large crowd, but there's a small trickle. You can see that others have left before you, have already climbed what looks like these tiered steps. And you can see the tall pillars themselves. Like as your head veers back, there's almost like a vertigo effect as you see how high they go. They almost seem to bend in some strange way. And as you climb these steps and reach each new additional tier, you notice that standing in the middle of the entrance itself, there is a tall man draped in those same pale robes that you've seen of so many of the wardens around here. You notice, however, that his face is visible. His silver mask is hanging from his belt, and his face is painted white. But he certainly bears the uniform, the presence of the Warden of the Well. And as you all climb the steps, the tiers, he kind of gestures to you, and he makes like a polite bow, and then a relatively pleasant smile for the situation. It's hard to kind of get a read specifically on his age, as it's whether it's the paint or whether it's just this kind of ageless quality to it. But he says, "The Wardens of the Well offer you our condolences. Come. Come inside." And he like gestures inside this tall, like arched doorway. And you look past and you can see this gloomy hallway. You're not sure if it's steam or dusk or incense, but everything is misty on the inside. But he says, "Come." And he kind of beckons you to follow him. And he takes a few strides, and he's like walking next to you, Armande. And he says, "Did you know the deceased well?"
What I've read, not somebody I would have ever, he would have ever wanted to bother to talk to me, but I've read plenty about him and where he's gone.
Why would he not wish to commiserate with you?
Oh, yeah, with the important things he's done, he would want somebody more experienced. Obviously, somebody's got to get into the field to learn to do things. But why have break my teeth with him? He's got whoever he would want to work with.
I see, but you are a member of the Explorers Guild yourself, are you not?
Yes. I've got lots of study performed. I've read about a lot of things, on paper. Haven't really gotten out there a lot.
Well, study is a very noble pursuit. I am sure you will have your time.
Thank you.
Just as he had his. Such is the natural cycle of things.
Yeah. Okay. I like you. Thank
Excellent. You. Well, thank you as well. What is your name, sir?
Oh, Armande Loutreides. It's a pleasure.
Master Loutreides, it is a pleasure to meet you as well. I am Sir Aaron Mirbalal. You may call me Aaron, of course.
Of course. Do you prefer the sir? I'm glad to say Sir Aaron.
Well, in these halls, perhaps we should stand on ceremony. Yes.
Yes, sir.
But should we meet outside of them, Aaron will suffice.
Okay. Well met. And thank you.
And he kind of reaches out to sort of grasp your hand, and like that classic shake, not so much the hand, but like the forearm. And, you know, he's got a very, very strong grip. You can feel like calluses as well, and very, very firm. Now, Armande is more like a scholarly type, right?
He is, but actually, Armande is pretty physical. Like, he's 5 strength, 5 agility. He's, he's a very scrappy scholar.
And so he shakes your hand and he kind of peers at you with these like cool, like almost bluish eyes. And then he seems to let go and nod, looks back at the rest of you, and he says, "Here, let us offer you tea so that you might commiserate." And he makes a gesture down this side hall. And when you look down it, you can see that there is a servant that comes hustling. And it's a very gloomy place. And you can see that the servant is like carrying this tray, and kind of almost bouncing on it slightly is this steaming kettle. You can see this small little tuft of steam that's thinly coming up and then disappearing into the mist that seems to cover the halls within this place. And you see a stack of these kiln glazed cups. And the tall man, Sir Aaron, and this servant can lead the 4 of you and Pyrex to this alcove off to the side, where the servant sets down the kettle and starts to lay out the cups and the circle around the table itself. It's a high top table. There aren't seats. There's a lantern flickering as well in the alcove. And you can see around that there are others. There are other people here moving about, groups of mourners that are gathering around various braziers, some of them sipping tea. You can hear hushed conversation. Nothing is ever very loud. It's all very quiet. Nothing really seems to sort of drift through this mist, and so you can never quite make out what people are saying. On the walls are all of these memorial plaques here and there bearing the names of those lost. Some of you might have friends, family who were interned here, but you can see the familiar faces of a few of the people from the mourners. And Sir Aaron kind of looks back to you all, and he says, "We shall leave you to your mourning. Please, if there is anything that we can provide you, do not hesitate." And he bows and sort of slowly steps backward, like keeping his face locked on you as he moves away. And then like the fog, the mist sort of wraps around him in some way. So you have right now this alcove. It's the 4 of you. It's very quiet in here. This flickering lantern, dark, gloomy. The tea you can smell kind of wafting up into your noses. Does anyone want to do anything in particular? Do you think anyone's saying anything, thinking anything, doing anything at this point?
Jeff, I have a question. Would you say that this is a location that we would have been to before, or is this the first time that we've been given entry to this area? That's
a great question. So the City of the Dead it's not like it's a place that the public can't attend, but it is essentially a place where it is a place for death. It is a place where people are interned, people are sent down the well. And again, the well is reserved specifically for powerful, the wealthy, guild members, Coriolites. There are other means of disposing of the bodies of lower on the socioeconomic ladder, so to speak. So it's certainly possible you could have been here. You might have attended a funeral in the past. It's kind of up to you all. You can say you've attended it. So do you think Rador would have had reason to attend a funeral or a wake for a loved one, family member, friend, guild member?
I would say so. she, and probably again someone that was kind of left us in a different means. She's got kind of different faction friends and whatnot from, kind of like mining and kind of different things. So I would say that she's been here before for those reasons. So maybe she would wander and see if she can kind of go to that area where kind of that individual is to kind of pay respects.
Yeah, as you maybe take a cup of tea with you and you start moving through the halls, you see that many of the walls themselves are adorned with various plaques, like embedded into the stone. Some of that is, you can tell the age of some of these, and like it appears like everything that you're passing by is a little bit newer, and the deeper you go back into this temple and through these serpentine-like halls, the more you find older that maybe go back to the founding of Ship City or even sometime in the last 100 years or so. But if it's something more recent, it doesn't take long for you to find it. It's probably still in relatively decent condition. It looks, as far as you can tell, that the wardens and their various servants seem to be very attentive to the needs of those that they take care of. Do you have a name for this person?
I'm going to say that this person was Loya. It was her name.
Okay. Are they an ex-guild member, or just like a friend, or a wealthy contact, or?
I'm going to say a friend. So she, so one of the contacts that I rolled for her was a cantina owner. So I'm going to say that maybe this was, kind of, someone who is a kind of frequent acquaintance at that particular cantina that had passed away.
Okay. And probably of some wealth, so it might have been somebody tangentially connected to like the Coriolites, one of the Coriolite families, or it could have been just somebody who's independently wealthy. Maybe they could have had investments ties to certain guilds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe like a financier of the, cantina.
Okay. Do any of the rest of you like move around? Do you sit? Do you talk? What do you think?
Kep would be kind of standing awkwardly in the middle area of the room, looking around, tools clanking on her belt a bit. If Richter is close, she'd go, Richter, I don't feel like we ought to be here very much. It's too clean here.
It is quite clean. Any bets on who Mosca looks at when she talks to us? Bet it's Redor.
Oh, yes, Redor. They definitely. I think they more popular with the scholar types. Yeah.
This tea isn't bitter enough. I'm gonna get a new kettle.
Follow you there.
Hey, a servant like quickly comes up and like grabs the kettle and like disappears down a hall, and in a minute or two returns with a completely different looking kettle, various symbols etched into the side, and kind of sets it down, kind of nods. She doesn't say anything, but just nods to you and sheepishly moves away. What about Armande? Do you pronounce the E at the end? Or is it Armande?
Oh, it's all spelled. It's like Armande.
Okay.
Yeah. His mom gave him a big name, big shoes to fill. At least that's how he assumes. And speaking of her, if it's not too far away, if there's a section where like the lower class people would have been interned or whatever, where their plaques are, that's probably where he goes, is kind of like fidget with his cape and go visit mom, so to speak.
Yeah, they are kind of in a different place, so they wouldn't necessarily be really within this temple. Yeah. So it could be along the maybe comparing where your mother ended to where weaving between the halls, they can see how much care is being taken to these people compared to maybe your mother. But yeah, it wouldn't be in here. Yeah.
He's probably almost like muttering to himself a little bit. He's like, oh, this is nice place. Shame you couldn't be here. But tea here sucks anyways, Mom. You wouldn't like it here. You're better where you are. It doesn't really suck. He'll say to the serving person as I'm sorry, your tea's great. It doesn't suck.
Someone like just moves past you as you're saying that and kind of looks up at you and just nods and gives you like this faint smile that you know is, it's just professional. Like they might not even have heard what you had to say. Okay. So after a little bit of time of you lingering and looking around, eventually you all will start to see Master Mosca's profile, and like in the misty fog and the gloom of these flickering lanterns weaving between the halls, and you maybe hear the slight squawk of her bird, and one by one you all sort of fall back in and kind of follow her back to where your alcove is, and the high top is set up with all the various cups, and she looks at you, in fact, Richter, and she says, looking directly at you, I presume you are wondering why I have invited you here first to the funeral, and now to the privacy of my company.
You read on that one, Master Mosca?
Well, it is good to know that you are a curious lot, but able to be reserved when reservation is required. And you can see her bird is kind of shifting on her shoulder a bit and starts to like aggressively puff out its chest as Pyrex gets closer. And you can tell that there is like a ruffling and an anger, like not maybe like a territorial quality to it. As you all, if you've ever, you all will have had interaction with Mosca before. She's the guild, she leads the branch of the delving unit that you are in. So none of you are strangers to her. But she is still the boss, right? So you would have familiarity with the fact that Eric can be a bit temperamental. But even in this place, like that seems to be somewhat tempered.
And I would say Ridur, as she's coming back, is sort of very quietly sort of like humming to Pyrex, because this isn't the first time that they've had an encounter, and she knows that kind of this dynamic is going to happen between the two. And so she kind of very low is just sort of like humming, and just trying to kind of get Pyrex kind of settled, kind of as we're kind of moving toward Mosca.
She reaches out for the kettle and she pours like her own cup, takes a sip of it, and you can see her face like winces, and she sets it back down. Far too bitter. Now, she looks at you all like one by one. I have gathered you here because something is very wrong with Levon Nejar's death. And it is a situation I would like investigation into. I am far too high profile, and the guild members themselves are far too busy, but you all are in the unique position of being capable, and at least within my circle of trust. Now, I know that none of you are particularly, or were particularly close to Nejar, but I can tell you that he has been unwell for the last few years. When I say this, I do not mean that he was physically unwell, but spiritually. He disappeared for long stretches. He cut ties to old friends, myself included, and he appeared to let go of himself. Maybe it was the blight that finally got to him, maybe something else. A week ago, Nejar
left a message for me. He said that he had been working on something that could change everything. I have not heard the man so energized in years. But to be honest, I took it as the ramblings of an old man, and my duties did not give me the opportunity to respond to him. 3 days later, I got the news of his death, that he had fallen from the balcony of his apartment in the chasm. We asked around and discovered some curious behavior on Najar's part in recent days. He had gone to the old archive in the haze 2 days before his death and was given as a favor to an old friend, an old explorer, access to a tablet that, well, had been in the archive since the ship city's founding. And when I inquired with the archivists, checked on this tablet, it was gone. Possibly stolen. I assume stolen by Najar himself. The Zapti constables determined that his death was a suicide. But this is a ruling I do not agree with. His apartment was, for lack of a better term, ransacked when I inquired. The tablet was not to be found, and I don't understand why a man would ransack his own home, commit such a terrible tragedy, and leap from his balcony shortly thereafter. It does not align, you see. I believe that this tablet that has gone missing from the archive, that has gone missing perhaps from Najar's apartment, might hold some key as to what befell him. And I would like the four of you to find out some answers for me.
We can definitely do that. Do you care more about how he died, or just the tablet itself?
I care about both. Najar was an old friend of mine. We have known each other for quite some time. He was he was one of the best explorers the guild has ever seen. And we have a duty to his reputation, to his legacy, to get the truth. At the same time, however, if he has stumbled across something that might have caused this, that might have gotten him into trouble, that might have... Well, I don't have to tell you all what meddling and artifacts that we know very little of can do to people.
Were there any particular topics as he had withdrawn from exploring in recent years? Were there any particular topics that had piqued his interest that might narrow down this at all?
I'm afraid my communication with my old friend had not been consistent in recent years. It has been quite some time since he and I had sat down together. He has moved into retirement, his time delving into builder ruins long behind him, and my duties with the guild and the politics of Ship City took most of my attention. I'm afraid these are answers that I do not have.
Is there anyone who might? Anyone that he was closer to in these recent years?
His old delve teams have passed on. Najar was the last. There is nothing suspicious, however, about any of their deaths, and they were not recent. Age, drunkenness, everything above board. It seems as though Najar, at least within the guild itself, no longer communicated with anyone regularly. If he had a circle, it was not within the Explorers Guild any longer.
Madara will look to Kef because she had sort of interrupted her.
As you got the key to his apartment, or is that going to be?
He, as far as I understand it, he still owns the place. He has paid up throughout the course of the remainder of the month. You should be able to gain access. I do not have a key per se, but when has that stopped an explorer from getting through a door?
Fair enough. Just making sure it's above board. We'll care about that.
Well, naturally, do not draw unwanted attention to the explorers. We do not want the Zapties to get too far into our business, do we?
No, of course not, mate. Alright, go.
Do you know who was behind the investigation of his death?
I don't know who was the specific lead investigator other than the local Zapti constables.
We are honored that you would bring this to us to investigate. We understand why it was us, and we will bring you the answers that you are seeking.
I am pleased. Of course, any information you find, bring directly to me, whatever it is. Yes?
Jeff, side question. Is it normal for us to ask for payment, or would I was just going to ask that. Master, is this something where we can now ask for a reward, or is this something that would be not good for, and our characters would know that?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends on you and how your character relates. If you want to ask for it, you certainly could. But in terms of like mechanics of your you would know that standard explorer pay is that you get, I think it's something like 1,500 a month or something like that. Ruka. You get a standard salary a month essentially. But if you want to ask for stuff, you certainly could.
I keep a percent of any artifacts or items of value we find along the way. You care about that?
She looks over to you, and she does, in fact, look fairly annoyed by the question.
Oh, dear.
It's better me than you, Melissa. I'm going to set my character up for that.
Yeah, this is an empathy dump group other than Adora, right? Didn't all of you have like empathy as your dump stat? Yeah.
Yes. This is this group, yes.
But yeah, she does look annoyed, and she turns her head towards you, and you can see almost like a mirroring of that, like Arak, the Garuda, does as well. And she reminds you that you will be recompensed for your time, as per usual, 1,500 ruka for each of you. And if it helps your motivation, 1,000 ruk for a bonus if you're able to find the tablet within a week.
Okay,
so
we'll do our best then.
So I just want to clarify, it's 1,000 ruk monthly salary, 1,500 is for like your fee, and then a bonus on top of it of 1,000 if you can find the tablet within a week. However, she looks at you and says, if you come across any artifacts, as is standard operating practice, you are not to keep them
you should deliver them to the guild.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Need not remind you that failure to do so will result in your expulsion from the guild. Yes?
Yes.
I understand. Well, don't worry about this fucking thing. Yep, all good.
I would recommend, as a starting point, if there is something we might have missed at Najar's apartment, he keeps it in the chasm. You also might visit the old archive down in the haze. Show them your explorer's sigils, and you will get full access. Now, sip your tea. Look very sad. And I shall talk to you on the morrow. You can see she kind of starts to step back a bit. You can see turns with this kind of tall, straight-backed, posture. And you see again, she starts to weave her way through the halls as like the mist starts to weave, sort of wrap around her. These dark shadows from the flickering lanterns cast these long lines on the walls and on the floors. And it's just before you in your bird.
Yeah, ominous opportunity. Yeah, I called that one.
Yes, bit of extra pay at least for the trouble.
Maybe.
And Radauer is just sad at the fact that there wasn't anyone that he spoke with, or he didn't have anyone of the, his crew left. It's so sad that all of his crew had passed and he didn't stay in contact with anyone. I couldn't imagine a life if we weren't doing our travels together and being connected all the time. And she was already sad because we're at a funeral, but this, like, especially those details of you just see her just sort of staring into the tea a bit. It's so sad.
I think he was a very good survivor.
Yeah.
He must have covered something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with checking his apartment. I'd also be curious to see, it sounds like it took a big favor just for him to get the thing that he was looking at. And so, that had to be a whole ordeal. But then obviously, if somebody went looking for that was somebody who was, watching him to know that he went to do that. So maybe there's somebody there who knows somebody else who came in to inquire either about, what he looked at or maybe asked about that thing. That might be another angle.
You will do great with that angle.
Maybe. But I don't want to argue with the master. We go to the apartment first.
Okay.
We do.
Is that the decision?
I think we're going to the apartment.
Yes, and we break in.
Okay.
No key.
No key.
So you all depart from the halls of the departed. You leave the city of the dead. No one pays you any mind as you do so. It's not an issue. You don't get stopped or questioned. And eventually you find yourselves on a creaking kind of cable car as you are moving from the city of the dead over in the direction of the chasm. So I know you all have the Ship City map up. We'll drop this in the Discord too so that you can kind of follow along. So thus far, you all are kind of, if you look at our map, you're at 12. That's where you've been. You can, if you zoom in far enough, you can even see the circle. This map is crazy. It's so good. This is the official map in the book. But you all are kind of heading domeward. So you're heading towards 2 on the map. So you're heading in the direction of that dome. And the chasm you can see kind of goes down and down and down. It's almost like a cross section of this asteroid. And there's all these different rings and tiers and levels and layers. And there's different ways of moving about the city, and obviously certain districts are going to have like different ways of traveling as well. So whether it's like cable cars or funiculars or trams, trains, that sort of thing, lifts, all of those. And there's always the opportunity, not that this is the relevant thing right now, of literally just putting on a suit and just kind of walking across outside in the across the asteroid itself. Like that's actually something you could conceivably do, but now wouldn't really make any sense.
But it'll be very cool when we do it.
But yeah, so we kind of cut from the solemn vibe of the City of the Dead, and we see the four of you on like this creaking, jolting cable car that's passing by pylon after pylon after pylon. It's this thin metal cage that you're in that's scavenged from old ship parts, the diaspora I mentioned before. It's effectively the only thing between you and the bottom of the chasm, because you can look down and you can see at certain points that hundreds of meters below you, like it's just this utter darkness. And if you were to slip through, if the metal itself were to somehow corrode and break, you all would have a very long way down. At the same time, this is a ride that all of you have taken many times. So like for you all, this is nothing. Nonetheless, like as you careen over top of the chasm itself, it's just an absolutely amazing sight as you see these terraced and sloped walls of the cave that kind of weave downward to the pinpoint far below. You can see they're all filled to the brim with these narrow houses with rickety balconies. You can see all sorts of these small hanging gardens, despite the fact that you are in this sort of patchwork asteroid city with old ships spliced together with cave rock. There is a surprising amount of greenery and garden all throughout the city here and there. You can see as you're looking out the glow of thousands of lanterns like fireflies in this eternal dusk of this cave. And then even further below you, the cave just narrows to this circular shaft that, at least from this height, seems to not have a bottom. Upwards, if you were to actually look above you, and I think Richter, aren't you from under the dome? Isn't that your origin?
Yeah, I'm from the dome. Someone else might be as well, if I remember.
Yeah. So you are. This is probably your neck of the woods, so to speak. Is you can see like the dome with this curved and stained serra-glass windows that's filtering in the very weak light from Jamua. Now, the star at the center of the Jamua system, this kind of reddish star, it's called a couple different things. It's just called Jamua. Sometimes it's called the first and last star, but you can see that the light is filtering through it. You can see beyond it the tangled wrecks of the old fleet that are dormant and just hovering outside the actual dome itself, above the dome. And beyond that is the great dark itself. And so, again, this is a very familiar sight to you, but nonetheless, there's great majesty in it as well. And there's different words. Most people call it Ship City, but some people call it New Coriolis. Some people, some people call it just home, like yourselves. But eventually, you do find yourselves in what's called the Fifth Ring, which is overlooking the depths of the chasm itself. And you would know from just your own understanding of Ship City itself that somewhere far below, the haze is down there, like the old archive. The other place that she recommended is somewhere down there as well. It's a not a particularly good neighborhood, in fact, but nonetheless, it's kind of a little bit further away. But you know the address. Like, I'm sure it's easy enough for, even though we didn't say it in the conversation, for she could have given you the specific location of his apartment. And as you all approach, why don't all of you, for the first time tonight, give me a roll? And so so this is our first time doing it. This game, there are 6 attributes. Strength does what you think it does. Agility does what you think it does. Logic, perception, insight, and empathy. There are no skills in this game, but there are talents, and those talents kind of have some skills baked in. So But just like any other Year Zero engine sort of game, at least the D6 pool variety is the number in your attribute is the number of D6s you roll. You're looking for 6s, and you're trying to avoid 1s, but 1s aren't bad unless you start to push. And so we'll get to that in a second. So why don't all of you give me a perception roll as you start to come to where the apartment of Le Val-Nejar is.
I think I just rolled 3 1s.
That just means you're if as long as you don't push, those 1s don't do anything to you. But if you were to push, obviously that would be bad. Okay, so how do we do?
I think I'm the only one that sees something. I did.
Okay. Yeah. So while the three of you are just kind of looking around and staring, and you kind of notice the building, the kind of the sort of built into the sloped walls, the terrace walls of the chasm, and all of you are almost like heading and beelining right for it. Kef, you actually notice something, and it's that at the base of like the stairs that lead up into the apartment, you notice that there is a Zapti constable standing right there. They've got their sort of dark blue clean uniform, and you can even see like the badge, the sigil badge is almost like shining. On their belt on one side you can see the holster for their gun, on the other side you can see the sword. It's a fairly young woman, but you can see that there she's just kind of standing as if she's guarding the entrance into the apartment itself, the apartment of a dead man whose death was ruled a suicide.
Kef will do a quick whistle, which is just like a quick indicator for the team to stop subtly. Just because they've been a team, so they probably have a few shorthand things. And she'll nudge Richter. Richter, look over there. It's a guard. I think that's your duty. Radur, Armande, I think we ought to go over there a little bit further off.
Good eye.
Should I could go try to have a conversation with him and distract? So Radur has an actor talent, which helps with bluffing NPCs.
Ooh.
At this stage, you're not certain that she, the young officer, has noticed you. Like you, Kef was able to catch in time before like you guys just walked right and through her. So it's kind of up to you guys. Can do whatever you like. And if anyone wants to, you could also roll a logic test as well. If someone would like to give that a go.
A logic test? Okay.
Yeah, go
I got
for it.
2 successes.
Awesome.
Are there penalties for one, or just kind of a fail?
Only if you push. So just like other Year Zero engine games, you roll your dice initially. Whatever comes up is, 6s are good. Those are successes. Most of the time, you only need 1 success. Sometimes there might be more difficult things. The GM can, but doesn't usually adjust the difficulty on things. But usually it's just the 1. If you don't get any successes, you could, or if you just want to get more successes, you can always push. Push means you re-roll any dice that don't show a 6 or 1. But all of the dice that show 1s after the push will do harm to you in some particular way. Usually it's a reduction of hope, which could cause some problems.
Gotcha. I went for the roll and got 0, so I'm good.
Okay. I think, Kef, you said you passed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I kind of hinted at it.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I think I hinted at it already. I think the two of you would be able to sort of put it together. There is, it's very clearly she is guarding the stair that goes directly up into Le Val-Nejar's apartment. It's not like a connecting apartment. There's not a neighbor. He did not have a roommate. And she's clearly standing there guarding this place. He was found dead several days ago. And the death was ruled a suicide. So the fact that there is like a guard here is very peculiar.
She's guarding the only way up. If you walk in there, it's a bit weird.
I think if Radur distracts Richter, you can guard the stairs itself. Armande and I may be quickest for searching.
Are we able to look and see if there's a back entrance? Like this is the stairwell, like up to the front. Is there a back, or is that the only means of ingress and egress?
Yeah, if you're trying to find another path forward, you can give me like a perception maybe, as you maybe don't go directly towards the stair. You just kind of take a sort of a parallel path, and you're looking to maybe see if there's some small little nook or alley that might lead to the rear of this place.
I did not roll any successes on that.
Anyone can do this. There's just, unless you're not telling anybody what you're doing. Like, I have no problem if others do it.
If we have a guard at the
I've got one success.
front door,
Man, you're crushing it, Kipser. Just keep, you're just winning.
I rolled like absolute trash when I was practicing before we started streaming, and now I'm getting those sixes.
You're hugging all of the sixes is actually how I would describe this.
Hugging all of the 1-6 that I rolled.
Okay, so
And to be fair,
Kev,
Jeff does roll like stupidly well whenever I run a D6.
I love
game.
D6s. I love D6s.
I do
games.
not
I don't
understand.
care. The best.
Yeah.
Well, see, now you two are
Grace.
flip-flopped, so this is great. So
Technically,
great. I'm so
I haven't
happy
rolled
for you.
anything yet, so let's slow it down. Hang on, let me roll some D6s here really fast.
Just roll 2 ones. Oh
Of course
my
I rolled
god.
Of course you did.
I rolled three. I
Jesus.
rolled 3 D6s. I rolled 6, 4. Anyhow,
Go steal
Okay.
those dice, Melissa.
It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. I switch it up all the time. It's just, I don't know.
So crazy.
Okay. So if you guys are kind of like lurking and lingering a little bit, like there is some cross traffic. It's not super busy. It's not like there's any reason for there to be a ton of people outside of this apartment. But you would notice, Kef, that there is kind of a small pathway that seems to skirt around behind. But you would also know that this means that you would be skirting on the ledge of the chasm. And if you recall, he said that he fell from his balcony, or he jumped from his balcony and down the chasm a ways. And so you guys would have to be a little careful to move past, like otherwise you could slip and fall yourselves. But it does seem to be a way back there. Yeah.
Up there, I think. What do you think? It's a bit dangerous.
It's like a high rope.
If we have to, we promised that we would, and we could, but it's if somebody could be charming and we could maybe not have to, that would be great. But we could if we had to.
Mon doesn't want to do a little bit of work.
I work. I could do it. I'll do it faster than you.
Gives in to peer pressure immediately.
Yes. Yeah, Armande is definitely the youngest of the group and clearly just caves.
Yeah. That's funny.
Who's the oldest of the group? Out of curiosity.
I would say I'm probably early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s.
About in your 40s. Okay. Sounds like Richter might be the oldest. About Rador, is she?
I was thinking 30s.
Okay.
We got a good range.
Closer in age to Richter.
Yeah, because Richter was older, and because we did in our like off-air session 0, we did some backstory card connections and wasn't Armande?
Yeah,
we had the Batman story going on, right? And then like Richter was like corrupt Commissioner Gordon to your Bruce Wayne.
I was the little orphan kid he used to go gather information so that he could strong arm people.
Yeah. So that makes sense that Richter would be much older than he. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys want to do? How do you want to, it's up to you. However you like to do this. What do you want to do?
I mean, I'm going to go climbing because I can do that. Because I wanted to.
I think he made his decision then, Mand. We'll head that way.
Okay. So are all of you going to try to slip behind across that ledge and try to climb up?
I'm debating whether Radauer might stay out front and try to keep this this woman distracted anyway. Kind of let the three of them go inside and look around.
Like it really does look like she's just standing at attention. Like if you want to be a lookout, that's totally fine. But it doesn't look like she's never gone up the stairs. She's always been at the base of the stairs. She's looking forward and out. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with everybody and I can talk if I need to.
Okay. Everyone go ahead and give me an agility test here.
Oh dear.
As you move through. And this is going to be a kind of a mix of you trying to move quietly and carefully and then trying to climb up to the balcony that he fell off of and trying to get into his apartment that way.
Okay.
I've got the acrobat talent.
I'll take acrobat talent for sure.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Acrobat talent.
Stealthy?
Or check your talents
Stealthy?
too. You might have something. I'll take it in this case because we're kind of like wrapping these rolls into one. Yeah, I'll take that.
So then you click on it, and then I assume there's going to be a way to add the +1 from the talent.
Yeah, if you're rolling directly from Foundry, you should be able to roll. If you go to your automations tab, there should be like roll stuff. One of them is roll stealthy, and so if you just click on that button, it'll roll it all for you, Jeremy.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a really good system. Whichever one of you folks did this, awesome job.
Okay.
Is there a way to remove delving suit? Because I'm not wearing it, right?
Yeah, you're probably not wearing your delving suit right now. You should be able to go into your equipment and hang on. Where is it? Or is it combat? It might be a combat tab. Yeah, it's in combat tab. So you can right click on it in the combat tab and choose unequip.
Okay, perfect.
Good call.
Yeah, everyone else should double check that too in case you have that, because you would not be wearing your delving gear now, obviously.
Mine was also equipped.
That's crazy. With 7 dice, I got 0 successes.
Oh my god.
What the heck?
You could push.
This is
I
cursed.
pushed.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, let me push this. First push.
Okay, I like it. Go for it.
Okay, I got 1. Oh my god.
Oh, but you lost 2
That's
hope.
all you need. That's all you need. But did you get any ones in the process?
Yep.
Yeah, 2 1s in my original roll. It's brutal.
So for you, you're like sneaking and it's that classic case of like you're moving, then your foot slips and you start to fall, but you grab the ledge at the last second. And for a moment, you're just dangling over the depths of the chasm. Now, granted, you are at level 5, but that's still a long way down that you could fall. And you're kind of hovering there, and you're able to you're able to climb back up. But it's that momentary shock of like, this kind of danger only happens to you when you're on a delve. It's not supposed to happen to you after you just went to a funeral. And so you lose a little bit of hope there. Okay. Anyone else fail?
I also failed.
You gonna push?
I am going to push. I already have a 1, so I think that means that I am already looking at losing some hope. I'm a little worried because I'm only rolling 4 dice for this compared to Long's 7 dice. Oh, poop. So I lost 2 hope and I still failed. So,
yeah. So
although chat tried to say that I was going to be okay because I'm not jumping, I am not okay.
Yeah, I think I think what we'll say is maybe you are following Richter, and as he falls, like parts of the rocky ledge, because it's kind of like cave wall, not stone, starts to crumble a little bit underneath the foundation. You lose your footing and you go falling too, and you kind of skid down the slope even further before you're able to sort of jam like your arm into a small little crevice. But in doing so, like, you swing down and bang your head. I'm gonna say give yourself the dazed condition as sort of as penalty for failing, but you're not gonna fall all the way down. That's not happening. So, and all that means is now you're gonna be rolling additional agility tests for a little while. Now you're gonna be rolling with a penalty. That's all. So you bang your head a little bit. You lose a little hope. You nearly fall all the way down the chasm. But eventually, you and maybe some of your fellow delvers are able to give you a hand up, and you can kind of continue moving. It looks like Kef and Armande, you guys, the two of you maybe were out front, no issues whatsoever.
I did fail and I pushed it. I just rolled no ones.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And so between sneaking behind, keeping yourselves from falling down the ledge, and then reaching what looks like some kind of support beam and climbing up that, and then eventually onto the balcony, the Zapd constable, completely unawares of this, you're able to jimmy open the door onto the balcony, which is not difficult at all. In fact, it's probably not even locked currently, and you're able to make it inside the apartment itself. Now, it's very small, but the term that Master Mosca had used was that it was ransacked at some point, and you immediately can confirm that, as you can tell that the whole apartment appears to be in disarray. Like, it's a 2-room dwelling. It's fairly small. There's these rounded arches here and there. The stone walls, are painted like this turquoise color. It's a sort of a specific style that you probably have seen here or there throughout the actual city itself. But the floor is covered with shards of broken vases, like someone has taken them down and shattered them. There's paper, there's books that are stacked up, there's old clothes. You can see like the curtains, there are these thin curtains that were by the balcony itself that are now kind of fluttering in the breeze, and they're kind of a little torn up here and there too. It definitely has the look of a place that it's certainly possible they could have been an altercation in here, but more than likely it looks like someone was going through things. They were picking up pots and shattering them and sifting through them. They were going through papers here and there. It looks in just absolute disarray. There's nobody in here. You don't really see any signs of like sort of blood or like shatterings on walls or anything like that to suggest more kind of like intense violence. At least it doesn't appear very, very obvious. What do you think all you would be doing in here? What do you think as you come inside?
I mean, I'm confused that there's not any blood, because this was clearly like, if he was old, but somebody like you heard, like he scouted a whole place with a broken leg, he climbed the thing without gear. Like he might have been old, but he was tough. So it's strange to me that there's no altercation here, right?
Are you going to look for a drink or poison or something?
Yeah. I'm wondering like if he was drugged, because like somebody took a lot of time to go through smashing all this stuff.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Yes, it definitely explains why they could pass it off as a suicide.
You're not going to push that guy off a ledge. Like he's gonna drag you with him.
Old school delve, yeah.
Yes, put up a fight.
Right. Yeah.
Melissa, you're picking up my accent again.
Just a bunch of
shake my fist at you.
Irish people in here. It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday after all.
I'm working on the Cockney right now. I didn't want to admit that, so I couldn't.
Melissa and I are watching How to Get to Heaven from Belfast on Netflix, which is awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah,
good job.
But the Irish accents are just Thursday. What you think?
Yeah.
All right.
The letter H doesn't exist. It's awesome.
No,
I love it.
I don't car.
Awesome.
I don't car.
Clearly, I agree with Jeremy. Somebody was searching for something here, so Kef is going to kind of like look under, maybe for hidden slots under tables or anywhere a delver might hide something that she would be aware of as a good hiding spot that hasn't been searched.
Okay, so you're like kind of looking for hiding places. What is Armande doing?
I am going to search to see if there's any indicators of like, because I do think he was probably drugged or some. I just assume there should have been an altercation unless he had been drugged or something like that. So I'm going to be also searching around, but kind of for different sources. Like maybe something that might indicate he had been slumped over in some spot for a while before being dragged out, like something of that nature. Because if he was unconscious, this is also a pretty big, stout person. You probably would have had to have dragged him.
Okay. So you're looking for signs of like him being dragged or like little stains on the floor or something like that. Kef is looking for hiding places. What's Rador doing? Like, what are you searching through as you look around the apartment?
So her question to Mosca earlier was, what types of things was he interested in, and what things was he researching? So she's looking for notes, looking for books, looking for that kind of thing.
There's definitely stacks of books and papers scattered about for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what she's going to be flipping through.
Okay. And then what about Richter?
I want to get an idea of how many people or like and how they kind of did things in here, like how the things are broken or moved around, where they're picked up from, kind of reenact those movements just to see what actually kind of went down in the room.
Okay.
You're going to be Connor from Detroit Become Human.
You're trying to do like a forensic, because you have like a Zapty background. I know that, right? Like, what was...
I have like a guild investigator background.
Yeah, you were a guild
investigator
investigator, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you have that background. Okay. Rodora, you don't have to do a roll as you're just kind of going through the books themselves. You like specifically are sifting through some books and some notes. However, Kef, Armande, Richter. Kef, give me a perception test. And then I'll say... Actually, Armande, you can give me a perception test too. And then Richter, give me a logic test. And you can roll your investigator with that too, Richter.
Can I also use my investigator?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Gipster just keeps on rolling
0 ones and a bunch of 6s.
See, you're figuring it out. You finally understand the strategy of these games. You just roll 6s all the time.
6s.
And everything's fine.
I learned it from you, Jeff. I learned it from you.
God, I love that commercial. So
Stupid
good.
perception.
Okay.
Because it's perception, I can't use.
God, you guys, your hope is just tanking.
I pushed my roll and I got one.
All right, so there's one at a time. So Richter, you're searching around. You're trying to use your guild investigator background to sort of get sort of a forensic assessment of this scene to see if this looks like a crime scene of some kind, right? Like you're looking for any suggestions of how people... What you can really discern is that somebody, whether it was before, after the death of Livon, you're not sure, but somebody systematically was going through books, in some cases tearing out pages. You can see that there are like sections of like furniture that like nothing's been broken, but you can definitely tell stuff has been shifted and moved, like it was looked under, as opposed to like just being broken for the sake of breaking. But you're not really piecing together like a fight scene. You don't really see the signs of like a fight happened in here. Like there's no real evidence of that in any way. You don't see a stray hair or a little speck of blood. None of that seems to be appearing. For you, it just looks like someone was just really recklessly and quickly searching for something. Armande, how'd you end up doing? You failed as well,
I
right?
failed, yeah.
Yeah, I think the two of you kind of come...
You could push, Jeremy.
It's up to you.
You could push.
I because it was using perception, it's not a very good pool.
No.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of come to the same conclusion. Like you don't see any clear signs of struggle, which doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't struggle. It could just mean somebody could have cleaned up after the struggle or something like that. But you don't see any drag marks. You don't see any blood marks. Like there is like a rug or two here and there that you don't see any stains in. You like it's slightly askance. You lift it up to see if there's anything underneath, and nothing like that seems to pop up. So the two of you are just like continuing to try to get a sense of if this is like what kind of crime scene this is. It's just if there was violence done here, it was cleaned up quite well, or it was like obscured quite well. Kef, how did you do on your roll?
I got 2 successes.
Okay. You are moving about, and you're looking, like you said, for like secret, kind of secret hiding spaces, things like that. You notice as you're going through, not so much that you haven't been able to find, you find like a little nook or a cranny, something that probably at some point was used as a hiding place, but you don't find anything sitting within it. But one thing you do find, and you find it kind of in 2 places. This, like one of them's the corner of the roof, up by the ceiling there. You can see this strange, like spider-like web that is just slashed across one of the corners of the roof. And then as you're going through one of the cupboards, you also notice it there as well. And it doesn't look there's something about it that looks not quite natural to it. Give me a logic test if you would like.
Sure, and just in case, I do come from technically the Black Toad faction. But yes, logic test. Just in case.
I would. Do you have? Yeah, you can. Yeah, I actually don't think that would help you in this case.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it, but yeah, just give me that logic test.
No ones, but no sixes. I already did.
Okay. Yeah, I would say you probably can't conclude too much more than it just. Mm-hmm. There's something about it, the texture of it. It appears at first glance like a natural spider thread, but as you pull it into your hands, the texture of it just feels just a little different, and something about it just doesn't feel quite natural.
Can I show it to the rest of the crew?
Of course.
I fucking look at this thing over here. It dodgy bit of spiderweb. This.
You sure that's a spider web? I mean,
nah.
Okay. That is weird. That is really.
So I'll say, Rador, you're still probably working on the books and stuff, but if Armande or Richter wanted to help out with trying to sort of sort out this spider-like web, either of you could roll a logic test if you like. I don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, I'll help on that.
Okay.
No good for me.
All right, no one Richter, but Armande, you got one success. So Armande, you can certainly confirm Kef's inclination that this feels artificial. It is very much artificial. There's nothing about this thread that is natural, but more specifically, you know that this kind of thread is linked to heirloom technology. So heirloom technology is like tech that has that is lingered from the past, from like the third horizon way back when, right? A lot of that tech has not been reproducible, and that tech that does exist is usually highly prized. So only people who are very wealthy, who are people who are in particular positions, certain less than certain shady kinds of professions might have access to.
What did this old guy? Was he known for using heirloom tech? Because if not, then we might be looking for somebody who does. Which that would say a lot.
Was like us.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, even when he was famous, he was still like under-equipped, and that's what they were just talking about earlier, right? So it doesn't seem to me that that's the sort of guy that would have heirloom tech, which means to me that probably the people who are doing this are the sort of people that have heirloom tech, and that kind of,
I think you need a breath. Deep breath.
I got this. I'm fine.
Okay, so the three of you are maybe huddled by the cupboard and like looking at some of these threads. We turn towards Rador, who is kind of sitting down in the middle of one of the rooms where there's like stacks of books and papers, and you're just sifting through these. And you find a few things. One thing that stands out immediately to you is as you go through, like as you start piling books and going through them, there are three here intact. One is called The Salamander God, The True Face of the Builders. It's by Lohans Vasis. There's another one called Nadir, Hoax or Mystery. Nadir was that generational ship I mentioned in the beginning, by N.R. Calafaris. And then there is a Book of Glyphs, which is a book you would have probably seen before, by the Explorers Guild. So you guys, I've explained what the builders are. Builders, again, they're like the ancient alien civilization whose ruins dot the charted sphere, which is like the explorable space near and around the Jumua system and where you're at with Ship City. It's where the ruins that Explorers Guild members delve into. But in addition to the builders, there's these things called glyphs, and glyphs are it's like a cross between like a language, but also something that seems to be imbued or carried some kind of power. And there's different kinds of glyphs, major glyphs, minor glyphs, dolem glyphs, some that have been kind of translated, some that haven't been discovered yet, and most of them seem to be associated with builder ruins. It's like some kind of builder language, and it's not uncommon, obviously, for explorers to research these things. And so, that one doesn't particularly stand out. So that's what I mean by glyphs. And I already explained the nadir and the builders. So you see these books, and then you can see stuck underneath those books, that stack of books, there is a blue Garuda feather. And it's sort of a kind of this lengthy, curved, beautiful looking feather. You also notice underneath this, like in this stack, that in addition to like these published books, there is like a crumpled page from a notebook that seems to be like crumpled up a little bit. And as you pull that up, maybe a feather in one hand and kind of unfurl the notebook in the other, you notice what looks to be a partial sketch of a tablet. And let me share something with you all as I
handout time.
An image. And so when you look at it, it's a rough kind of charcoal-y pencil type sketch it's not shaped in like rectangular or ovular fashion. It seems like a little broken here and there, but you certainly notice that there are these glyphs that are etched into it in various places. Not all of it's completely visible. The precision of the drawing suggests either that Levon was a very artistic man, or it's something that he drew a sketch of while having that thing
looking
next to
at
him.
it.
Or
yeah. Okay. So at this, Rador is going to get very excited, but we're being quiet, kind of as we're in here. So she just sort of kind of like holds it up and waves that she kind of found some things. She wants to kind of hold up this blue Garuda feather, kind of toward Pyrex on her shoulder, kind of sort of asking the question, so to speak, like if this is a familiar Garuda. So if this is sort of like, a Garuda that we may have kind of come in contact with in our, from our guild or, kind of anything like this.
Right. Yeah, Pyrex doesn't respond in any way that suggests immediate awareness. Like, it's not like there's a sudden perk of interest.
Yeah.
Like this is
just sort
like
of
a dog would get from a familiar scent or anything like that. It's not like that.
Okay.
You could roll a logic test if you like. If you have anything that's maybe history oriented, not archaeology, but more like a history kind of focused talent might benefit you here.
No, I don't think I have anything that goes along with
just
that.
rip it.
You said logic,
it's not essential.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, unknown. But she's definitely pocketing these things, and so kind of within kind of the cloaks and kind of pouches and everything that she has, she's kind of taking these items, sort of very very carefully, kind of folding that sketch and keeping.
As you're
feather.
folding this sketch, you notice on like the back corner of the sketch there is the text 122Y scribbled in the corner.
Ooh. She will, before she kind of tucks it away, she will kind of get up and show that to the group. We have found an image of the tablet. And she'll kind of point to the tablet and then kind of point to the...
Does that sort of combination of like numbers and letter have a common cross-reference with the sort of thing like the equivalent, like we would look at latitude, longitude, or something like that?
Do you have archaeology, Armande?
I don't have that as a talent. I'm a Slipstream cartographer, not the archaeologist one.
Yeah. Yeah, this is. Does anyone have archaeology?
It's just an off chance.
I'm a hole cutter.
No.
I would say if you want to roll a logic test, go ahead and roll a logic test, Armande. There's just not you're not going to get any extra bonus for it though.
Okay.
Push it.
No.
I'm gonna push that.
Doesn't look good.
No.
All those dice and none of them turned up 6.
I don't have any ones.
I
crazy.
know. So
I'm
sad.
trying
Of
to
course,
give
when
it
you
to-
push 6 dice, there's greater likelihood of rolling a 1.
You
as well.
have no
That's what I'm
ones
saying.
right now. Is it?
Yeah,
at all?
I am pushing it.
Oh.
Well, the good news is because this is a logic test and I'm smart, I can actually push twice.
Okay.
Hey.
Bad news
So
is you
I
did
will
roll
try
one that
one
time
more
around.
time because it would be.
You got this.
That's okay. This is
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
what
that's
are the
18
chances of you?
dice.
what are the chances of rolling 18 dice and not getting a single 6? I get you.
100% of the time.
You got 3 ones. Oh, jeez.
All right. Yeah,
Wow.
I remember.
Maybe it's a case
how,
of frustration.
I should know this. I remember.
maybe
I've
it's a-
seen.
It's
somewhere-
frustration. Yeah.
So
You
fucking
absolutely
stupid,
have seen this
stupid.
somewhere, but for some reason
I've
you can't
seen
piece it together. It's just like,
God, I'm gonna feel so stupid when I figure this out later. God damn it, Armande, what the fuck is wrong with you? Stupid. And he's just cursing himself over in the corner now.
Radara comes over because we're trying to be quiet. It is going to be okay. And also, curse yourself quietly.
Rad, can I have a piece of your, can you rip a bit of the book out for me?
And she just sort of looks at Armande because there's no way that like ripping something out of a book is going to be a good idea. We just take them with us. Whole.
I think I want a bit of paper for me spider web to fold it in. Now I'm definitely going Irish.
And she'll go into her backpack and she'll pull out like a blank for you. Yes. Here you go.
Okay. So Kef will like kind of fold the spider web into it, and so it pulls off kind of still within its own shape, while preserving that thread
The filament or whatever it is.
filament, butt juice.
We went synonym, and then we took a hard left turn.
You let me keep going too long. So.
okay. What else
Gossamer
would you guys like to
thread.
do? You've been in here for a little while. You've made a little noise too. That is not like Rador's note was correct. You guys have made a little noise. What else would you like to do?
How are communications dealt with between like living spaces? Is it electronic, or is it all like on a
communication's
personal device?
It's usually pretty slow. Like it's not like it's kind of like think of it like retro communication. Like definitely a lot of things are like physically communicated, messengers, runners, stuff like that. So that like it's not like you do have communication devices. Like you can have, especially on a delve, like you all would be like connected via your headsets and things. So it's not like radio communication doesn't exist. It's just, it's not like someone has like a cell phone set up over here to the side or whatever.
Okay.
So like, are you wondering if there's like an answering machine in here or something that like might have?
That is a good question.
Yeah, you don't see anything like that. You actually don't see a lot of tech in here. It doesn't look like he has a collection of tech set up here. A lot of old school stuff, a lot of books, paper, things like that. And you know him to be an older man. Like he passed when he was somewhat older.
I'll step out to the balcony and kind of get a viewpoint from there to see who can see from that angle to the balcony.
Yeah, so there's like there's probably another apartment like over as you kind of turn your head to the left a bit, you can see that there's maybe another row or two, and you can see additional balconies a lot like this one, as it looks like a series of sort of tenement apartments next to each other, each with like its own like stair kind of coming up to it. But you don't see anybody out on the balconies or anything like that currently.
I'll keep that place in mind to look into later.
Okay.
Should we go? Has it been long enough?
We probably should.
Maybe you'll think of what this means later.
Yeah.
I think we ought to go. It's, can I roll a lookout to get an idea of if we have the guard, like, attention or anything?
You can peek. Like, I don't think you have to do a roll for it, but you can peek.
A peek.
Yeah, it does look like a second Zapti constable, but one not in as pristine a uniform as the one on duty has arrived as well. You can't quite make out their face. You think it's a second woman, and the two women are talking, but from the angle you're at, it looks like they're both kind of staring off in array, and you can see the woman in the nice blue uniform is kind of pointing sort of different things. You're not quite sure what they're talking about, but it definitely looks like she's not alone anymore.
Yeah, I'll hold up like 2 fingers for the rest of the crew.
We should.
About time we bail.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same way?
Back out the back door.
Uh-oh.
And I won't require like another roll. You guys kind of know the path. You start climbing down, and you kind of sneak across, and you kind of get out into you can look around the corner, and again you can hear the voices of them kind of wafting over, but all of it, like there's like this constant ambiance of clank and like kind of echoing throughout Chip City, the buzz that just seems ever present. And so you can't distinguish exactly what they're saying, but definitely the one in the is pointing certain things out. And once or twice you all have to like sort of quickly shift back to hide as their gaze kind of turns in your direction. But I'll say that you all are able to sneak away from there and slip into like the traffic, like foot traffic that seems to be moving across this ridge, and maybe moving off in the direction of one of the like a funicular, one of the trains that maybe goes deeper down into the chasm if the old archive is your next stop. But you would also know, holding that feather, that one of the best places to go to get information about Garuda is the bird market, a place that some of you have very uncomfortable history with. But
Yes,
we'll
we
hear
do.
about that history next time, as we're going to call it. We're going to call it there for tonight, and we're going to say that's the end of our first session. All right, we got started. We made it through.
Awesome.
Right. There we go.
Yeah,
Yay.
we did.
Nobody fell in the
guys go.
chasm.
I know.
You got Melissa tried. She tried
I really did.
real hard to.
If there's an opportunity to fall, I'm going to give it a whirl. In every system, I've got to fall. Like this
Classic
is what I do.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
I specifically looked up fall rules. I used to not do this regularly unless I needed it, but now with Melissa in the game, it's just one of those rules I have to go to by default. So, yeah.
Melissa,
Okay.
this might be a bit of a mean question. Did you succeed on any of your rolls so far?
No, I don't believe that I did. I'll go back through.
So-
I'll scroll back out just to see, but I don't think.
Okay, let's do
I did.
Let's do some questions. So we're going to do odds are going to be improve your explorer questions. Evens are going to be improve your crew questions. We'll do that. Okay. Because I think you're more likely to have maybe gotten a few of these, and these are going to give you XP. So I'm going to ask you some questions. For each one of those that you can definitively answer yes to, you get an XP. Did you participate in a session? Obviously you all did. So go ahead and get an XP. Did you roleplay your quirk? Anybody want to say they
did.
roleplayed their quirk?
I absolutely did because my
What's your
quirk is, hold on, let me come back to it again here real quick. My quirk is that I sniff Sira to calm my nerves.
Awesome. Yeah, right in the funeral. Remember? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and take an extra XP for that.
Is it
Did you
counting my
explore?
description, or is it kind of? I was actually
you tell
described
me.
on my person because mine's my eye-catching tattoo, so it doesn't really. It's just a
So,
tattoo.
wait, what's your quirk?
Your quirk?
It's an eye-catching tattoo. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. If you want to say, do you want to, I mean, you could say you did it. It's their first session. Take it for now. But yeah, in the future, maybe you do something, with the tattoo, maybe you brandish it or whatever it might be. Who knows?
Gotcha.
It's your way of flirting. Do you like my tattoo?
Did you explore an unknown location? I think that's more for like delving stuff. I don't know if going to a person's apartment is going to count. But did you investigate a mystery? For sure. So all of you take XP for that. Did you instigate or partake in intrigue? Intrigue is kind of like the political jockeying of stuff.
We said yes to the quest, but
to the quest, and I asked for money.
Yeah, I don't think the asking for money is intrigue. No. Did you help another explorer?
Trouble.
So explorer means did any of you like help another person out in the party? Did either of you like do something to help?
Richter kicked dirt in my face so that I would fall. The opposite of helping.
I think that's a no. Did you overcome a difficult challenge?
Yeah, the climbing up to the balcony is quite difficult.
So crazy. And did you interact with your affiliated faction through your contact or background? I would say no for that. I don't think anyone we didn't really get into faction stuff yet. We'll get into that as we go. So it's a campaign, so we got some time to do this. But there we go. So mark your XP, and then next time around we'll do the crew questions, and we'll figure out how that goes. And like you eventually spend these to get things like talents and different levels of talents and that sort of thing. Okay. Well, that's it for us. What do we got next? I don't think we have anything until Monday. We might do some We're in Danger. Tuesday, Kipser running us through some Wild Sea. So we're going to get back to that. And coming next week, I think we have another free league game. I think it's the 21st is what we're planning to get back to One Ring. You can see myself, Melissa Long, and our old One Ring crew on Saturdays. I think we're going to come back for a second season. And that'll be next week. All right. But that's it for us. I'm going to throw us on the end screen, rate somebody. But thanks for hanging out. If you're watching this later on YouTube, drop a comment. Tell us everything we did wrong. Just kidding. Please don't do that. And then come back next time. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.